Today you're going to take some notes on graphing linear inequalities. You're going to take them in your workbook, and so what you're going to do is just kind of pause the video. Sometimes it'll tell you to pause it, and sometimes you just pause when you need to. So everybody works at their own pace, and the idea is to get the notes and really understand what you're doing by the end of the video. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you my dogs real quick. This is Dixie. Dixie's 9 months old. Dixie, sit. Good girl. And this is Zach. And Zach's a cutie. He's my little baby. Zach, sit. Sit. You can't really hear very well. Sit. Good. I really don't think he's that, but that's okay. Dixie, paw. Baby paw. Good girl. So I just wanted you to meet them anyway. On page 158 in your workbook, we're going to just use these 3 examples to show you quickly just kind of the idea of the lesson and what you want to be able to do by the time you finish. And then we'll take a couple of notes on the next page. Okay, so in A, you're familiar with graphing something like this. If it were y equals x plus 5, you knew how to do that last week. So what we're going to do is do the exact same thing we did, where we start with the y-intercept. So we're going to go up to 5 and put a point. And then my slope is 1 over 1. So we're going to go up 1, right 1. And then I have my 2 points that will create my line. The difference is, though, this time instead of an equal sign, with an equal sign I would just draw a line in. This time I have a greater than symbol. So what I'm going to do, I'll just tell you what it is and see if you can figure out why in a little bit later. This one's going to be a dotted line. And then so since this says y greater than, it's a dotted line and a shade above. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go in the video. Okay, the next one would look like this. I'm going to go to the B again, which is at 1. And this is a negative 1, so I'm going to go down 1 and then right 2 for the slope. So down 1, right 2. This one, though, is going to be a solid line. So it's going to look, so it's a little shaky there. This one's going to look like that, and then it's going to be shaded underneath. So it'll look like this. Again, we'll talk about why that is in a minute. But now I'd like for you to think for a second on why you think A, what's the difference? A was dotted, B was solid. See if you can figure that out. Okay, so hopefully you were looking at the signs. This one has a greater than. So greater than or less than is going to be a dotted. And then greater than or equal to, less than or equal to is a solid. And so what that means is that everything on the line is a part of your answer. Okay, so again, we'll keep learning about this as we go in the video. So now what we're going to do is go down to negative 5. The negative 5 will be here. And we're going to go down 1, right 1 to get that slope. This one, again, according to what we just learned, is going to be solid. And this is y greater than, so we're going to shade above. Now, on page 159 in your notes, we're going to try to just highlight the steps that get me to what we just did on the last page. All right, so what we're going to do is highlight or underline or something these notes, just so you know them for later. So you're going to use a dashed line if you have a less than or greater than only, solid line if it's equal to. Then what we're going to do is we're going to test a point that is not in the boundary, so that means on either side of the line. And then you're going to shade the part that does contain that point. So shade the part that contains the point. You'll see what that looks like in a minute. All right, so let's try a couple of examples. What we're trying to do here is practice, are the points that I choose going to be correct or not? Okay, so follow along with me here. We have this point x, y, and what we're going to do is we want to know if it's true in this function that we're talking about graphing. So my x value is going to go in for, or I'm sorry, 3 is going to go in for x, 2 is going to go in for y, And so I have 3 plus 2, which is 5 greater than 5. So the question is 5 greater than 5? And since it's not, if it said greater than or equal to, that would be correct. But in this case, you would say no, that 0.32 is not a part of that function. Now what I'd like for you to do is pause the video. I want you to try 2 and 3 doing exactly what we did in 1. And remember, the way we learn is to try it independently. If we have a problem, no big deal. You can go back and change it. But I at least want you to try it. So pause the video, then come back and watch. Okay, hopefully, I'm going to run through this really quick. Hopefully you have the same thing that I have as I'm writing. See, 2 greater than 2 is true. So in this one, you're going to say yes, because that is a true statement. And in number 3, we're going to plug in 2. And so this is my x, and this is my y value. I have negative 1 plus 4. So the question is 3 less than or equal to 4? Again, that is yes. Very nice. If you didn't get that right, please raise your hand and let me help you. All right, now on to the next topic. What we have here are y and x. So they are horizontal and vertical lines. This y equals a number is a horizontal line. Okay, so what we're going to do is on the y-axis, notice the y values. On the y-axis, I'm going to go to where 4 is. Okay, so 4 is right here. And I'm going to draw in a horizontal line. However, it's less than, so it's going to be dotted. Okay, and it says y less than 4, so I'm going to shade everything below. Okay, so it's just another kind of thing into this lesson that we're doing. All right, so now we're going to go on the x-axis here to 3. There's 3. And this is going to be a vertical line. Notice these two in the setups of these two questions, they don't have any slope. They don't look like our y equals mx plus b like usual. And I want everything greater than 3, so that's going to be everything out this way. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a pause and play. So what I'd like for you to do is pause the video, try these two, and then play when you're ready. Okay, -1. We're going to have a dotted line at -1. Y greater than would be everything shaded this way. On the x, oh no. Wait, I hope you caught that. I messed that up. This is actually going to be on the y-axis at -1. See, even I make mistakes sometimes. I'm going to go to -1. We're going to put in a dotted line. And it's y greater than, so everything above. That's a horizontal line. Good. And then the x-axis will be at -1. And we're going to make that one solid. Ooh. And it's y less than. So everything less than -1 would be this way. Okay, so again, this is what we were actually trying to get to. The beginning of the lesson, everything else just kind of leads up to this point. Now I think it'll make a little more sense. We are going to do that step 3 where we plug in a point though. So step 1 says we're going to plot this thing. So we start at 1 and then we're going to go up 3 over 1 will be 1, 2, 3 over 1. And this is going to be a dotted line. So this is all of step 1. It said figure out if it's a dotted or a solid. Now when we're trying to determine where we shade, what we have to do is pick a point either in this area or in this area. So we have lots of different options there. What I like to do, what I think is the easiest thing, is to choose 0, 0 as a point to plug in, because 0 is always easy to plug in. So what I'm going to do is take this function, and I'm going to plug in 0 for y. I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and I'm going to ask if it's true or false. So 0 is less than, let's see, 0 plus 1. So the question is 0 less than 1? And since that is true, then that means you're going to shade everything in that region. That means everything in this region where the 0, 0 is going to be an answer. So I could pick any point in here, and it's going to give me a correct answer. It's going to be true anyway for that statement. Okay. Right now, what I would like for you to do, I want you to try on page 160, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, and 14. This is going to be your independent practice, so please call me over and let's go over it when you're finished. Good luck, and thank you for listening.